Storm sewer, Ms. Iker.
In order.
Sanitary sewer, Ms. Iker.
In order.
Local recovery, and Mr. Bill, you?
In
I
order.
only know you all my life. Okay. Capital Projects Fund, Ms. you?
In order.
Checks and transfers to be ratified. And that is,
So we usually do this.
okay. So if I could get a motion to pay the bills?
I'll move.
Do you mind if I do it?
No, go
Okay,
ahead.
I wasn't expecting you to take over, I appreciate it, but.
Go ahead. You got it. The other ones are all okay, we're good there.
I would ask for a motion to approve bills and payroll, from the general fund in the amount of $281,255.70. From the storm sewer fund totaling $7,380.50. From the sanitary sewer fund totaling $240,047.64. From the local fiscal recovery fund in the amount of $28,158.00. And from the capital projects fund in the amount of $22,015.32.
Got the motion?
I'll make the motion. They be approved.
Need a second?
I already seconded it.
Oh, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then I would next ask for a motion to approve checks and transfers to be ratified from the general fund totaling $272,249.32. And from the payroll fund in the amount of $64,571.16 for a grand total ratification in the amount of $336,820.48.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And next ask for a motion to ratify payroll for the pay date of August 9th, 2024, in the amount of $216,177.27.
So moved.
I have an objection, so, I think that this might be a matter of executive session.
I guess we could table it.
Let's just put this on. We'll table what, that particular bill, okay? That's a payroll. Is that a question?
Yes.
Was it the payroll or?
Yeah, it's payroll, okay.
This
Wasn't
is
payroll.
payroll, yes, for the August 9th pay date.
Okay, so we'll leave it without.
Okay.
Any more?
Move on to the meeting minutes then?
Is there anything else? Are you gonna, the overtime pay as well?
Oh, we can't do that until the payroll is approved.
Okay. All right, I'll move on to the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minute meetings of August 7th, 2024?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mayor, you got 5
Mr.
minutes.
Vice President. First item I have is the animal control report for June. The reason why it's June is they're a little bit behind in their reporting. In June, the police department received 46 animal complaints. 30 complaints were referred to South Hills Animal Control, which represents a 4.25% system usage, which is not a bad usage, system usage rate for the entire system. Suburban Wildlife is accepting applications for the 2024-2025 archery program for deer management. Interested residents can download the application from the Borough website under the police department webpage. And if the deer that are walking through my yard are any indication of what's out there, I think we should have more hunters this year. I've seen bucks with, big racks walking through my yard, which may be an incentive for hunters to come out. But in order to control the deer population, what we really need are deers who are willing hunters that are willing to, hunters that are willing to go after does. That's what will have an impact on the, deer population in Whitehall. And, we're not too far off our pace from last year. in terms of the number of
We haven't
deer
seen,
reported.
yes, we haven't seen a substantial change in the statistics.
Okay, moving along. The water line, Chief has a road construction update for Baptist and Grove that has already been given. Our next child will be, Columbia Gas will be starting a gas line replacement along Provost Road sometime in September. This project will last at least 1 month. The roadway will be reduced to one lane between 2,900 and 3,100 blocks from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday, and Columbia Gas will be disseminating more information soon. Residents are reminded that new stop signs were installed on Castee, Doverdale, Seaton, and Dunn Drives. Police will issue warnings for the first 60 days and then move to traffic citations. So that's not an incentive for anybody to, please obey the stop signs, but just know that for the first 60 days, we'll be issuing warnings. And again, I mentioned about the hunter safety program. Let's see. Oh, no, this is something different. Registration is open for the annual Whitehall Borough Police Department Hunter Safety Program. It'll be Saturday, September 24th, 2024 in the community room. And a link to the online registration portal is available from the police Facebook page. So if you're interested in taking hunter safety course, in the past, it's been one of the most popular programs that we've offered in Whitehall Borough. Okay, moving along. Skip, do you have a fire company report?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Our fire call total this year is 451 calls since December 1st. We've had 52 calls since the last report on July 17th. Our shift crew responded to 22 daylight calls. Our current membership is still 33 active firefighters. We had one resign, he got a job transfer, and we terminated the membership of another. We were able to purchase 4 Draeger gas detectors from a $6,000 grant we received from the Sneed Reinhardt Foundation. Odors of gas have been our most common calls, and they will be invaluable for determining root cause and mitigating hazards. We asked the residents have their HVAC systems serviced and checked for carbon monoxide. Birds, insects, and other animals often use vents to domicile and nest during the spring and summer months. Our fund drive received 1,414 donations to a total of $110,376. We thank the residents and businesses who have supported the fire company this year. We will be sending out second reminder mailings, emails, and social media posts. Last year at this time, our donations had a total of $117,010 with 1,533 donors. However, this year's mailing was 5 minutes behind as we switched to the lower cost vendor. So far, we raised $1,435 for our new fundraising tip board site. Presently, we have an outdoor package, a winner's choice, which is a choice of a $500 Giant Eagle or Amazon gift card, and a $500 Allegheny Arms gift card up for grabs. The fire company enjoyed community day activities, and we were able to raise $325 through the 50-50 raffle. Our new chief's vehicle is in the process of being upfitted and should be in service by the end of this month. Thank you to Mayor Nowak, Councilman B for attending our meeting on Monday. Our September meeting will be Monday, September 23rd, instead of September 16th due to vacations at 7 p.m. Some of us will be in Aruba and others will be in Florida.
Yeah, before you go, Mayor, you got more on Zoom?
I do.
Okay, want to thank Skip with what the fire department obviously does, but that fund drive is so important to the fire department. And again, we need to get a better contribution. Probably the people we're speaking to here all contribute, but they're going to be doing a second mailing, if I understand.
Yes.
And, you know, obviously, they need your support. They put a lot of hours in and they're good people, so appreciate it that you could help them out if you can financially afford to.
I know where you can get some extra water.
Good, Mayor, you're back.
All right, I approved a block party for Glen Elm Drive this weekend. Courtney, I have your letter here, and I'll,
Glenelg.
yeah, Glen Elm. And they, the organizer asks that the barricades be dropped off in the island at the bottom of the, and it's in the letter, but I just wanted to note, that's something a little different. Normally we drop it off at the person's house, but they'd like it to be dropped off at the island. Okay, picked up there. All right, moving along. So, report on the Whitehall Committee for Environmental Action. We, I think, did our job on Community Day. There was a recycling container next to every trash container. After the event was over, we separated we emptied the recycling and separated the trash, the recycling that had been contaminated. So there were people, as you would expect, that threw non-recycling into the recycling container, but just know that it was removed and put into the trash. And the only thing that went to waste management was recycling. And we had gloves and, made sure that all that happened. So I think it was a first successful outing. I think we might want to look at different containers. Those blew over a couple times in the wind, but all in all, we've introduced recycling to the residents on Community Day. We want to continue that tradition. Moving to the Whitehall Borough Historical Society. On September 11th, John Delano is going to be here, and he's going to talk about the role of Pennsylvania in the presidential election. And if that's not a hot topic, I don't know what is. So, hopefully, you have to sign up, right, Alan? So, do people have to sign up?
Yes, and also a news release has gone out to the South Hills Record. So, and they're very good at, putting that information in at the appropriate time.
Right. So, if you're planning on attending, please, get your registration in. But we're really excited about that particular program. And again, it's September 11th, Patriots Day. Okay, lastly, as Lori Bickle mentioned, I did go up with Marty, and we met with Lori and Ross Bickle and also Pat. And it was a very good meeting. We looked at the asphalt and what needed to be done. And I think everybody's having an appreciation that the borough is only going to go down as far as the asphalt, but there's still more work to be done down below. So I know Lori is hoping that we can put a pipe in and remove the asphalt, and I think that's our goal. And I told her that the engineers looking into what it would cost, and obviously we'd have to take that up at budget time. We also looked at a tree that is about to fall, and which is not a borough responsibility. And just so everyone knows, Lori will confirm this, I made it very clear, I'm not here as the mayor of Whitehall, I'm here as the Lone Ranger. So I use that to indicate that I'm just a citizen trying to help another citizen of Whitehall. So I'm looking into ways we can take down a tree. It's not a very tall tree, but it's leaning at the top. It should be removed. It's surrounded by asphalt. Hopefully it can be removed. So I'm looking into how that would happen. Again, not through the borough, but through other ways. And then Pat has an interest in, on the other side of the fence, if you've been up there and seen the fence, there's shrubbery going down, and she would like that to be taken out. Again, it's not on, some part of the easements, just something that would make her feel a lot better if we could not have the flow of water stop there. So again, I'm looking into that as a citizen. And that's all I have.
Great job, Mayor, really.
Thank
Any questions for the mayor?
I
Okay,
have
if
a
not-
quick question about the provost. The Columbia Gas is, I guess, doing it again. Is there any sort of communication between the utilities and, the borough? Like the utilities to each other and us? Like, does anybody ever get along? Yeah, get,
I can't speak to that, but they are required to submit one calls for work. We do get those, and that's when we go out and mark our lines.
So we
well, I
know,
guess
we
what
know
I'm
by
asking
the
is that
Whitehall.
could have been avoided, like while the road was ripped up for, to replace all the water lines, which was super recent. Could the water company have called the gas company and said, hey, the road's already ripped up, we inconvenienced everybody already, do you have any lines that need replaced while we're inconveniencing everybody? And then they could have done it, last year.
There wasn't any water line work on Provost. What happened earlier in the year is they relocated the gas main so they could replace the bridge down in Wayman. So that work they did on Provost from the gas station up to the Fairhaven Club was gas line work. Now they're going from Fairhaven up through Whitehall Circle.
Yes.
They're continuing up the road to replace the main line, and then they have to do the lateral lines back and forth to the residents.
Oh, okay. I thought it was water lines.
Water lines were Baptist.
Water lines. is
And we're
Baptist.
lucky that the gas company's already been through Baptist.
But it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Suggest
It is, it's a good
Coordination
idea.
among utilities.
If you remember, in history, Gateway Engineers, so Ruth Ann Omer, who was president of Gateway Engineer, worked very hard at getting contracts between and getting the three utilities to work together. She had schedules, she worked very hard at doing that, and they seem to have their own priorities, which makes working together really difficult.
They have their budget.
Not to say it couldn't be done, but it has been attempted, you're right.
Yeah, they have budget constraints, different kinds of contracts, obligations for that to deal with. It's kind of like herding cats. Yeah, it's very difficult.
Okay, thanks, Scott, for your input. Scott. All right, if there's no other questions, we'll move on to the solicitor's report, Mr. Frank.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. I don't have a report this evening.
Any questions for the solicitor? If not, moving on to the engineer, Mr. Russell.
Thank you, Mr. Heath. Just reviewing the report dated August 16th. Time is flying, but it's not that quick.
It's because school started.
Yes, on page 2, on Overlook Park, please let council know that the railing was installed today. So we're nearing the end of the project. The final walkthrough with the general contractor and the other primes, as well as the consultants, is scheduled for next Wednesday. So we will be generating that final punch list at that time and advising the contractor of any issues. On phase 2, bituminous walkway and concrete steps, the bid advertisement has been provided to the borough for its to meet its advertising requirements. We're looking at a bid date of October the 9th, 2024.
9th or 19th?
9th, just the 9th. Over to page 3 under the pool. The pool cover project is currently out to bid. There was a pre-bid meeting held today. Only one bidder attended that pre-bid meeting. So we'll have bids next week. We'll have bids September 11th and be able to make a recommendation to council at that time.
What is the material used in most of these covers?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Scott, what kind of material is used to cover most pools? It's like a canvas or?
Yes, and it's a woven type of material, canvas. The rubberized materials would be too heavy for that pool of that size. So yeah, it's like a woven type of a fabric. And Courtney just advised me that I skipped over Overlook Park, the pay application.
You gotta wait till next meeting.
That won't affect me, but the people at Caliber Construction
All right, I will let
might
you
have
go.
more interest in it than I do. So Caliber Contracting submitted their pay application. The application is in order. We recommend approval. Work under that pay application included pavement demolition, asphalt paving, landscaping, sidewalk, topsoil, playground equipment, supervision, and general project requirements. The recommended motion is to approve pay application 8 in the amount of $223,708.82 for the Overlook Park Improvements Contract 1 General Construction to Caliber Contracting Services Incorporated, subject to receiving all of the documents which we have.
So moved.
Need a motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we go.
Under item 12 on page 3, that's the pavement maintenance program. Our office and the Public Works foreman did meet with Mealy on the 15th to review limits and mark curb repairs. Work was to occur this week. It doesn't look likely, and now the date is starting on the 26th. And under item 15 on page 4, under the Felix Drive, Solar Construction has fully completed the work and provided their maintenance bond along with their pay application number 2 in final. That application is in order and we recommend approval. The recommended motion is to approve pay application number 2 in final in the amount of $2,370.70 for the Felix Drive Storm Sewer Improvement Contract to Solar Construction Incorporated.
So moved.
I do have a question before we can proceed on this.
Sure.
So, I presume very recently you had, conducted a similar walkthrough to the one that you just are going to conduct for Overlook for the Felix Drive project.
That inspection occurred probably 2 to 3 months ago.
Yes, and I'm aware that what we have here is what is called the final payment.
Correct.
Okay, because, I'd like to, if you could please take a look at this map, and this is a map of Felix Drive, of the project that Gateway Engineering was also involved in. Of the sanitary sewage. And what I understand about the project that happened back in 2021 is that there was some sanitary sewage lines that were capped and that were otherwise potential overflow drainage for stormwater action. So I was wondering if you were also engaged in that, or if that was before your time.
It wasn't before my time. I did not manage this project, but it's a storm. The project that you're referring to and the one that I'm looking at is for a storm sewer project. There was no sanitary sewer repairs that I'm aware of.
It says right here on, I'm sorry, it's upside down for this. So, all right. It says right here, it says locate and concrete encase sanitary sewer.
That's an industry standard, certainly one that Whitehall follows. So when you're constructing a new storm sewer, this storm sewer, I believe, was in 24-inch in diameter. Anytime that you have a large diameter storm sewer, we specify and require the contractor to locate the existing sanitary sewer to determine and verify its elevation. Since most of the sewers in Whitehall Borough are vitrified clay, extra strength vitrified clay, they can be crushed and broken easily during the course of construction when the machinery is doing the excavation. So we require the contractors to locate the sanitary sewers and other utilities, but the sanitary sewer in particular, that pipe is exposed and it's encased in concrete. And the reasoning for that is to protect that pipe from when the new pipe is installed, embedded, and backfilled.
Okay, great. And do you see this map as more of a zoom in of that? Here you go. Whereas, and here's where I'm going with this, that this seems to be the area of concern. We got Felix Drive here, and Felix Drive 1111 and Felix Drive 1113, which I believe is the scope of the concentration of the 2024 project.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
That, I believe that what I'm looking at with the encasement was around about the 11 and the 13, the 111 and the 113
Okay.
here, which coincidentally, the 111 and the 113 happen to be the 2024 project.
The scope of the 2024 project, the one that you're being approving final payment this
Mhm.
evening, was to extend storm sewers parallel to the railroad. As you're aware that there is a railroad in the rear yards of
Mhm.
both of those addresses that you've mentioned.
Mhm.
That creates more or less a dam. So the
Mhm.
road, if you would be standing with the railroad to your back, looking upstream up the driveway,
Mhm.
storm sewers were extended to the left and to the right.
Mhm.
Additional inlets were constructed at the end of those storm sewers
Mhm.
with a large diameter open grate that weren't available at the time of this project in 2001, maybe, I don't know what the date is.
Yeah, yes, it was 2001.
So that's the scope of this project.
So, I'm
And
a
the
little
reasoning for it in
confused.
the-
I'm sorry, I'm a
Okay,
little
maybe I'll try to do a
confused.
better job of explaining.
Yeah.
So, drainage from the railroad
Mm-hmm,
flows along the rear yards of the homes on Felix Drive on the left-hand side.
mm-hmm,
That's looking again upstream. So, to help alleviate the ponding that occurs, because what the problem with that project was, where the storm sewer goes underneath of the railroad,
mm-hmm,
there was a sole inlet that was constructed there, replaced the original one.
mm-hmm,
All of the debris off of the railroad,
mm-hmm,
because I believe that they do spraying
mm-hmm,
for the vegetation. If at some point that becomes brittle and it floats, so during large storms,
mm-hmm.
runoff from that railroad carries the debris and blocks the storm inlet.
So for the
Which,
rec.
hold on, let me
mhm.
finish.
All right.
And by blocking the storm inlet, it becomes inoperable, it will not accept water. And then water would pond in the lady's rear yard, or the residents of 111's rear yard.
Mhm.
So, storm sewers were extended in the left and the right direction, looking upstream. Additional inlets were installed at the left and the right-hand side, essentially to split up the flows and to capture as much as possible. Inlets were also modified to where the castings or the cast iron was left approximately 3 inches high
Mhm.
to accept and allow that fine debris that was blocking the original inlet into the system and be passed through and under the railroad.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with the concrete encasement.
Okay, so for the record, you're saying that it has everything to do with the railroad, and I suppose this
No,
was
the railroad is just one component of it. There's an
Okay.
entire neighborhood that drains towards that, or to that railroad.
Yes.
And then on the right-hand side, it's just overland flow from the rear yards. The 111 sits in the lowest spot of that watershed. So, in the event or during heavy rains and high flows,
Mhm.
overland flow is gonna end at that point.
Mhm.
But it had nothing to do with the concrete.
Okay, I think you pretty well discussed everything. We have a motion that was made, and I need a second.
Please, Mrs. Thomas, second.
Oh, she did,
Yes.
thank you. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Anything else?
Mr. Beast, just one final thing under item 17, the Mertz solar panels. Contract documents have been finished, finalized for that. The advertisement is delivered to the borough. And again, along the same lines of Overlook Phase 2, bids will be received on October 9th.
Thank you. Any questions for the engineer? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the manager's report. Ms. Ward?
I have a lengthy report, but a lot of just updating. So to start, following up on Mrs. McKee's question about where the partnership with Tillotson is at, myself, Mr. Harris, and Mrs. Bauer had a fantastic on-site meeting with representatives from the school about the playground equipment. The agreement has been drafted, and as of this morning, we're just waiting on some exhibit items. They've secured their insurance certificates, and installation is slated for October over there. So a little later than what we had anticipated, but it's all fantastic. While on site, Mrs. Bauer and myself were also able to connect with those representatives about opportunities for more collaboration between Tillotson, the borough, and the larger community So I don't want to spoil Hannah's report, but I think she's gonna have some great things, if not tonight, in the coming weeks to update you on there. Next up, the internal infrastructure update. Vendors have been on site to evaluate this room for live streaming. I'm still waiting on the written quotes to bring before you for review and, you know, your choice of vote. Our IT on the other end is putting together a quote for a new laptop to connect the two pieces, so that we could get that up and running within the next month or two. Our IT provider has also recommended Microsoft Teams as the streaming platform, where meetings will be recorded and posted to the existing meeting minutes page on the Borough website, so we wouldn't have to build out another piece of the website since we've just recently done it.
So would there be any live streaming? Would it be live
It would be
streamed
both. It
on the
would be a
website?
live stream, and you would record the stream, and then the recording would be posted to the website page. Other options involve building out your website entirely, and that's not something that staff is looking to do after our third website redesign in recent years. So yes, it'll be live streaming and then also recorded to be posted.
Oh, what about the microphones?
That's part of the quote that we're getting from the companies that I'm waiting on.
Great.
Next up, Mrs. McCray here. Mrs. Bauer and I also met with Mrs. McCray from the Shade Tree Commission on August 14th to discuss potential grant opportunities and ways that the borough can better collaborate with the Shade Tree Commission in our borough parks, our overall tree maintenance, and our general landscaping needs throughout the borough. So we identified 2 immediate partnership opportunities. One being sprucing up the 2 islands located on Bradford Road, and 2, provide screening at Frank Park in the backyard of the residents on Greece, if that makes sense. So, I don't know if you wanna pop in here, but a Clean Air Fund grant has been identified as a potential grant for the Radford Road plantings. So I asked council this evening to sign on as a supporting partner and to agree to provide in-kind labor from Public Works for the prep work and the mulching as we've done in previous projects. So that is the motion before you this evening.
So
Very good.
moved.
Okay, got a motion and a second? Can I get a second anywhere?
Well, I'll second the motion, but I do have a question.
Go ahead.
There's been at least 2 plantings done there. They kind of fail because of the water problem. There is no water. There's no way to water them. Are these, what are you doing about that? Plant?
I'm gonna defer to the
Okay,
expert
you're
there.
kind of looking at
Yeah.
The Clean Air Fund is a fund that is funded through people in the community that have to pay fines for polluting our communities. So say Clareton Works, if they have to pay a fine, it goes into this fund and it's available for the communities to take advantage of. What they require for the urban tree build-outs are shade trees, I should say, that are drought resistant. But it also is a fund that can include the equipment to provide water to the trees in the times that they would need it. Say water bags around the trunks and things like that, that would, even the cost of maintenance to get the water in buckets or however we want to get it to the trees.
Okay, the other part of my question was the one time we did it, we chose trees that got too big and obstructed vision. Have you
Yes. we're going to-
throwing that into your mixture? Okay.
Definitely, we have to take a look at the Radford Road setup, and determine what type of trees work best for the traffic that's there, plus the water availability and the pollution, because there are trees that won't survive in pollution. So yes, the shade tree has expertise in looking at those things.
Maybe that was a problem before, Kathy. We either didn't have a shade tree commission or we didn't consult the shade tree commission, and now we have.
I think you didn't have a shade tree.
So it's not gonna happen this time.
Thank you, Don. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor of supporting the partnership with the Shade Tree Commission for Clean Air Fund grant application? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Mrs. McRae and Hayden and myself also plan to meet this fall winter to discuss implementing a hazardous tree program where the Shade Tree Commission will help us identify trees for removal that, so the borough may become more proactive in our tree maintenance and management rather than reactive. This year particularly, we've had a number of trees fall down in our parks where thankfully no one was present at the time, but could have caused some real damage and injury. So the Shade Tree Commission is going to assist us in identifying these problem trees for removal before they get to that point. So really looking forward to that. And then we also discussed partnering with the Whitehall Committee for Environmental Action on a pollinator garden at the Echo Glen Island. And there's also a potential grant opportunity there as well. And additionally, another grant opportunity for riparian planting at the Streets Run Stream Bank in 2025. So we had a really great discussion about a lot of opportunities and a lot of areas where our interests overlap and we can collaborate. So I'm really looking forward to working with Donna and the Shade Tree Commission on that.
Sounds like we can now compete with Carnegie.
We like
If
grants.
anybody read in the, they have the butterflies. So this will be great. Thank you.
Very excited about the pollinator garden. Next up, as you know, there's a vacancy in the Public Works Department, so we're accepting applications for that position until September 2nd. And then another grant update on a few different things that I have on my desk right now. The statewide local share account program does open next month, September 1st. We have previously applied for this and had success with this grant, most recently for the purchase of our backhoe. The Public Works Supervisor would like to again apply for this for the purchase of a bucket truck. So if there's no objections, I will put together an application, bring forth a resolution next month to this body. Okay, seeing none. The LSA grant also accepts applications for sidewalks. So given the pending playground installation at Highland Park, staff is recommending applying for a grant to pave the borough-owned parking lot and install an ADA sidewalk from that parking lot to the new playground and the existing pavilion to truly make it accessible. If there are no objections, again, I will work on an application to bring forth to you the next meeting for consideration.
Any concerns? Okay, we're good.
I just, well, never mind, after you're done.
Sorry,
I'll wait till
question
the
on
end,
it?
I'll wait till the end.
Okay, I also continue to work on a grant application for the solar panel project, partnering or asking for letters of support from the Whitehall Environmental Committee, so working on that. And then an item not on my report, but on the agenda, due to the last minute nature of this, is in regards to the Allegheny County Department of Economic Development Gaming Economic Development Tourism Fund. We had previously applied for this, it's a mouthful. We had previously applied for this for the tennis court refurbishment, if you recall a few years ago. We were unsuccessful in that. However, the application period for this year is August 19th to the 30th. So given that not much notice was given, I did receive an updated cost estimate, and did prepare a resolution if council was interested in reading said resolution, adopting it, and I can finish the application within the time frame. So before you is a motion to adopt the resolution. I would first need a motion to read it in its entirety.
Okay, I get the motion.
I'll make that motion that we read it in its entirety.
Second.
I second that.
All in favor, say
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good.
The purpose of the resolution form is to have on record a statement confirming that the applicant has formally requested a grant, has designated an official to perform the required duties between the applicant and the Redevelopment Authority of Allegheny County, has authorized the execution and delivery of any and all agreements between the applicant and the Redevelopment Authority of Allegheny County, and has assured where applicable the provision of local matching funds. In addition, the applicant will comply with all other provisions of the application. Resolution of the Borough of Whitehall authorizing the filing of an application for funds with the RAAC. Whereas the Borough of Whitehall is desirous of obtaining funds from the RAAC in the amount of $519,480.00. Now therefore be it resolved that the Borough of Whitehall does hereby formally request a grant from the RAAC for the tennis court refurbishment project. Be it further resolved that the Borough of Whitehall does hereby designate Courtney M. Wertz, the authorized official, as the official to file all applications, documents, and forms between the Borough of Whitehall and the RAAC. Be it further resolved that the applicant is hereby authorized to enter into the grant contract between the applicant and RAAC, and any and all documents relating to the grant contract contract as may be required or necessary. Said grant contract and other documents are collectively referred to as the grant documents. Be it further resolved, the execution and delivery of the grant documents, as well as all other agreements, writings, and documents, and all changes, modifications, and additions thereto, executed and delivered in connection with the transactions contemplated thereby be and hereby are approved and ratified, that the authorized official be and hereby is authorized to execute and deliver such documents. Be it further resolved that the Borough of Whitehall assures, where applicable, the provisions of the full local share of the project costs. Be it further resolved that the Borough of Whitehall assures that the project will be awarded under construction within 180 days after contractual execution.
Need a roll call, please?
Need a motion to adopt
Okay.
resolution,
I'll need that motion, please.
to adopt
Motion.
resolution number 1039.
So moved.
Second,
Roll call now.
Mrs. Pugh,
yes.
Mrs. Iker,
Yes,
Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Zoborowski,
Yes.
and Mr. B.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I just wanted to have it noted that, I'm excited to say that this, plan seems to include pickleball court as part of the refurbishment project.
Correct. And then, so do you have a question about grants, or do you want me to move on to the .gov?
You can move on to.
Okay.
I can
No, I just wanted to follow up.
Very end, it's just a clarification question.
So last but not least, an update on our .gov request. So the borough's request for Whitehall Borough, BORO.gov, is still being reviewed. They're evaluating granting access for both Whitehall Borough, BORO, and Whitehall Borough spelled out, as they usually only issue one .gov domain per organization. So I've been in discussions with them about why we'd like both. We'd like to redirect, we'd like to have Whitehall Borough spelled out, redirect to Whitehall Borough, BORO. And I'm awaiting confirmation from them. I've also indicated that if not possible, Whitehall Borough, BORO is our preference. If that makes sense.
All right, now, questions for the, good, so,
Yeah, so, the public works labor, we're filling the vacancy, seems like not that long ago, we just did this. So this time around, do you think we could get 3 applicants, or 3 recommendations from staff, and council could choose from one of them? Or at minimum, this time, can council get at least a resume? That's why I voted no on the last couple hires that they didn't pan out. So this time around, I'd like things to change.
That's not the process that we follow.
Well, I'm making the process
No, he's-
different.
Well, you're asking, I think you're asking council to make a change to the process, right?
Sure.
That's what
It's not uncommon to have.
No, I'm not,
it's-
I'm not
it's-
critical.
You're a pro, solicitor, it's
I'm
not
just trying to
uncommon
make-
request at all.
What my understanding is, the current standard is the hiring of employees has been delegated to the borough manager, right? That's the current state of Whitehall Borough. If you wanna change that, which I think you're proposing a different procedure, then, that needs to be voted on by council to make such a change. Is that the current state is hiring and firing of employees is delegated to the borough manager?
Mr. Solicitor, as I had pointed out in this council, in the public, in the past, that it is within the Public Works is, union contract, that it would, the ultimate authority would fall on the council for the hirings, and firings and, recognition of resignations and even promotions would have to be confirmed by the council. And, actually, as you seem to interpret it, is that the council has delegated all of this authority to the borough manager, such as it were, because all things non-legislative would therefore be of the borough manager's purview and hers alone. Despite the fact that said ordinance was signed actually over a decade before the current union contract.
Well, so first, union contracts don't govern hiring employees. Second, the borough has the authority in the big picture to hire employees. The borough council has that. They have delegated that authority to the borough manager. So that's how it works. So if the borough council wanted to change that, borough council can. They have the right to vote to amend that at any, if they wanted to do that. But currently, that's the status. The borough manager has the ability to hire employees. It is not in conflict with the collective bargaining agreement in any way, shape, or form, which I can't say more clearly than that.
It would have to be an agenda item.
You would make a motion to put on the agenda for the next
I'd
meeting.
like to make a motion to put on the agenda that we get at least more than one staff recommendation and that they include resumes this time.
Okay, I think I'd like to get a roll call on this.
Well, just to be clear, I think if you wanna make, what you're asking, I don't wanna misstate what your request is. Your request is that for in general, or for this particular hire, you're requesting.
Well, for
that-
every hire from now on,
Okay, that the borough
because that's
staff,
why people elect us, right?
just trying to clarify what the motion is. You're asking for a motion to add to the agenda, a motion to, I guess, rescind the authority of the borough manager to hire employees such that the borough staff now will get 3 resumes, submit them to borough council, and borough council will vote on it? I don't put words in your mouth, I'm trying to.
We need more than one recommendation, you know. We can't delegate the authority to an unelected, like, official. That's why people vote for, council people. I mean, a lot of other boroughs don't do it that way. And it didn't pan out. The last 2 hires didn't even last more than a year, so I mean, something's not right.
Okay,
So I'd
you
like
made
to-
a motion, now if we have a second.
I made that motion, however,
Is that, I don't want, is that whichever's,
yeah, that's pretty much exactly it.
for discussion, it'll be on, to put on discussion for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Still have to vote on it, right?
That's just the motion that's been made.
And I will
I will second.
Okay, let's take a roll call on this.
Mrs. Depew,
No.
Mrs. Iker,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
I apologize for my delay, but may I ask a question before I vote?
Sure.
Stone, you are asking for council to review 3 resumes? Is that, I just wanna make sure I'm hearing
I'm
you clearly,
asking
since I
to
apologize.
do our
for
jobs,
calling
yes, to review the people that we're actually hiring and not just blindly hire somebody that a staff member recommends. That's what I'm
Okay.
asking.
in. Okay, so then I have another question to ask. When public works are hired, doesn't also our public works director, Mr. Harris, isn't he actively involved in the reviewing of resumes and the interviewing process? In his words?
Yes,
Is that
we're not
accurate?
doing the interview, we're getting a resume this time. It's still staff's recommendation, we're not picking the person, I just think this time we should actually see a resume instead of blindly hiring somebody. I don't think it's a ridiculous request in the least.
To answer your question, Mrs. Thomas, yes, Mr. Harris is actively involved in the entire process.
Okay, so then, Stone, you said you wanna just see the resumes, you don't have any opinion beyond that, because they're already being interviewed by 2 other people. Am I understanding?
Yes.
Well, that, forgive me, that's not the motion that was made. Forgive me, Mr. Soborowski. The motion was, taking the authority of hiring away from the manager and putting it back with council, and the process being they do the interviews and provide you 2 or more choices for the final vote, but it's ultimately changing the process from being hired by borough staff, by the manager, and moving it to council.
The staff is still making the, yes, that's exactly it, Mr. Urban. The staff is still making the recommendation, the staff is still hiring whatever applicants they see fit. But this time around, we're actually, as council, should read their resume and decide for ourselves if they'd be a good fit.
But that's in conflict with what's been said before.
See, this is what
You're
you guys
saying-
do.
you're
It's
saying
not
council
complicated
should
at all. You're making it complicated, it's not complicated.
Yes, the way you're saying it is done, I'm missing something. You're saying council should vote on the person who's being hired.
As a final confirmation.
Yes, as a final the last 2 hires, we did not have
Okay, which
resumes.
is different than what we've done. We have hired a manager to hire people and oversee it as part of her job. So you're changing her job description by saying council is going to hire directly.
Right.
Upon staff's request, yes. Or,
Okay.
upon
That's-
staff's recommendation, I'm sorry.
That's, I think, a little different than the motion that.
No, that's the motion, is that.
Okay.
Just do it how every other borough does it.
That's not how every other borough does it, but
We need,
And
you're
our-
entitled to your opinion.
There's a
That's the way it
Ms.
should be done.
So,
we need
yes,
roll call.
Mrs. Thomas, or what is your vote on adding it to the agenda?
I apologize, I still don't quite understand what the motion is. Can somebody repeat it word for word, how it will appear on next week's?
What I wrote down when
Agenda.
Mr. Furman was speaking, it's to rescind authority of the borough manager, give 3 resumes to borough council for review.
Well, no, that was,
That's my notes.
it was, yeah, I'm sorry, the item to be discussed is rescinding the borough manager's authority to hire. The borough manager will conduct interviews of the employees and present 2 or more choices to borough council to vote to hire the individual. That's what you're saying, Mr. Soborowski, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the motion, as I had it.
Okay, based on that, my vote is no, thank you.
Mr. Soborowski
My vote is yes.
and Mr. B.
no.
So
Okay.
I'd like to ask a question, why, so it didn't work,
You
the
just
last
lost the
2
vote.
hires, okay, but it's ridiculous, and everybody
Okay,
that
that's
I've
your
talked to
comment.
says
Move
it's
on.
ridiculous.
That's your comment.
No,
All right.
you can't just blindly have
Well, you voted on there.
an
If you don't wanna
unelected
give a
bureaucrat pick
motion.
who's.
Let's move on, okay.
It didn't work the last 2 times, so whatever,
All right.
fine, my vote will be no whenever you bring the recommendation, unless they have a resume, it's absolutely ridiculous that you would just blindly say yes to somebody.
Well,
It
the policy
didn't
has
work
worked
2
very
times.
well in the past.
Well, it
so-
hasn't worked the past
in
2
your
hires.
In your opinion.
Bill,
Okay, well,
if I could add. The reason why the borough manager hires is take the politics out of the hiring. I mean, you can see, trust me, I have many conversations with, elected officials all across the state, and politics can get involved where, police chiefs are hired for political reasons, all kinds of things can happen for political reasons. Now, if you don't want a system that is set up to be, where only the qualifications of the person are being considered, not other political considerations, this is the system the county has. I'm pretty sure the county manager hires all the county employees. They set up that system so that there wouldn't be the politics involved in the hiring.
So you're saying there's no politics in this, so common
Yeah, I'm
sense tells
saying-
me you only have to persuade 1 person to get a job instead of 7 people to get a job. So the way I'm doing it, you have to persuade 7 people, so I would think that would take the politics out of it, would it not?
No, it doesn't.
So,
it doesn't-
oh, okay.
Well, I'm just telling you that that's the reason why it was set up.
Let's move on.
That's
So
what
if
common
you-
sense tells
Jim,
me.
we're good. All right, any other questions for the borough manager? All right, if not, we're gonna move on to the assistant manager, recently engaged.
Thank you. Yes, I just have a quick update. Staff are in the final stages of the Borough magazine, so you guys will be seeing the draft before this week.
Any questions for
No, but I'd like to make a comment that I wanted to make after Courtney's. With regard to live streaming, if we decide to accept Laurie Bickle's suggestion of reorienting the room, can that at least be taken into consideration? Like, I would imagine if the room were oriented this way, the live streaming would have to be in a certain location. It's just a thought, just something to keep in mind, that if you did this, if people were thinking about whether to reorient the room or not, it would be, you would need to have the live streaming in a certain location to make it work. So I'm just saying, just to keep that in mind when you're talking with.
Well, a few vendors have already been on site, and they've looked at the room and decided mic placement and, camera placement based on.
I can't hear you.
Based on this layout, so.
It
if
was based on
council-
the layout, can you start over, please? I couldn't
The
hear you.
few vendors that have been in are providing quotes and mic placement, camera placement based on this layout. If council wants to change that, I need to know now, so the quotes can be adjusted accordingly. And I have to bring them back in.
You're gonna have mics
I don't
at
think
all the
that's gonna be
tables?
a big difference in
No,
days.
so there's
on
the
that.
technology, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, I
I don't
apologize.
think that's, moving a camera, with panels like this shouldn't be a big
So it's not so much the
deal in the cost of it.
I can't speak to what their quotes are gonna be. To answer your question as far as the microphone technology, it's not the days of a mic at each table anymore. Actually, a lot of the vendors use, I'm probably gonna use the terms incorrectly here, but it's essentially a mic on the wall hanging from the ceiling that picks up, the noise throughout the room, that one works back there, one works up here. So it's a lot more sophisticated than just 10 microphones up here.
It's just like if a teacher's using a smart board in their room so the parents can hear if they wanna listen, or a child that's home, so it works the same way. It'll be cost effective, trust me.
I have a question. Are the microphones gonna be set up to only pick up the camera? Like, is it only gonna be set up for the filming part of it? Or is there gonna be some sort of speaker that those microphones
room.
will project to?
My understanding is this new type of equipment does both, and that's something that once the quotes are received and we can see the specs, what, piece of equipment or brand are they
Okay.
speccing, that's what would have to be reviewed.
Okay, cause it would help to have speakers in the room.
I think you'd see a difference just with the change in the layout, to be honest with you. I've only did this for 20 years of my life or more, and I still do it on the side. So I think you would see a big change in that. You might not really have to move everything, just some flag placement, emergency exit's still there, the exit's still here, you can still get people out.
No, I understand.
Gordon, I think we
Thank you.
we heard him.
No, so I guess before I move forward, because I have another company coming in on Monday, is that something council wants to shift this room?
I think I would just state something, I think we're fine the way it is. If it doesn't work, we can change it down the road.
It isn't. You can't hear, their backs are to us and they're speaking this way. It isn't.
Okay, that's fine, but you can look at it.
Does
We're not
anybody
gonna
wanna
make
form a
any
committee over it? I think that would be a smart idea considering it's,
That's what I always wanted to do, and
Yeah,
it
we brought it
was
up.
shot down.
decisions.
It was shot down. Excuse me, what do I know? Only, 25 years of IT experience.
We have a committee in place, and that's administration, if it would be.
Excuse me, it was Public Works who was given the unilateral time with Ms. Wertz to plan exactly how we were gonna move the furnishings from the old council chambers to this council chambers, and how there was going to be new carpeting. They did a beautiful job, and I really do appreciate the sign back here. However, it was absolutely, positively, every single time I tried to have a conversation, to set up a meeting, it was absolutely, positively denied by Ms. Wertz to do so. So, I would love it if somebody else from the community would have some expertise that they would actually respect, because
Kathy, is
I do
already
not
your committee
feel the
look at this?
respect.
Is it okay? Yeah, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna put this in the hands of administrative service, Kathy, if you and her staff will look at this. Okay, we're gonna move on.
I'm on that committee too. Do you wanna call a meeting at some point about the?
Well, she'll be in here.
There is no, meetings are all scheduled for the year. I don't recall the exact date for administrative services, but I can look it up and get it back to you.
Ms. Schwartz is looking it up right now.
One second, just look at my calendar here. The next administrative committee meeting is scheduled for September 10th at 5 p.m.
Let's make the October, because I'll be out of town then.
That would be October 8th then.
So you got it? October 8th, and Lindsay, it needs to be aware as well.
October 8th?
Yep.
Yeah,
All right, we're gonna move
Lacey-
on.
At 5 p.m.
All right, administrative services, you have any, Kathy?
I have nothing to report.
Okay, planning and zoning, Mr. Lucetti, not here. I think,
I do have
Ms. Schwartz, you have something?
Yes, I do have a report from Mr. Lucetti. An update at the last planning commission meeting, which was held last Wednesday. Work continued on uses in commercial zoning districts. The commission discussed potential regulations for tobacco stores and definitions for vehicle repair services. The work will continue at the planning commission's September 11th meeting. On the zoning hearing board side, at last night's meeting, the board, one, granted a variance request by Doris Cassia, executor of the estate of Loretta J. Pecora, 511 Glowwood Drive, to permit a private swimming pool to encroach within 10 feet of a rear property line, subject to the condition the property owner provides evergreen plantings to screen the view of the swimming pool from neighboring properties. Two, they also held a public hearing on case 2024-ZHB-07 Bart and Victoria Phillips, 4541 Country Club Drive. The applicants appealed the denial of an accessory use building permit by the Borough zoning officer pursuant to the maximum height requirements in the zoning code. The board is expected to render a decision at its September 17th meeting.
Any questions? Okay, we'll move on to the library. Is Mrs. Thomas able to give a
Yes,
report?
Mrs. Thomas,
Okay.
Mrs. Chancellor is here to give a report, if that's okay.
Yes, thank you.
So the library would like to thank the borough administration and officials for all the hard work that went into hosting a great community day. The library and the Friends of the Library felt so much goodwill, community spirit, and library support that day, and Mother Nature certainly did cooperate. We literally had hundreds of kids stop at our table to do crafts and play a game, and lots of folks went home with a library-sponsored book in their hands. Thank you to Eagle Scout candidate Emmett Smith for continuing to grow the community's Little Free Libraries. In addition to the grant-funded Little Free Libraries now found in the Whitehall parks, Emmett has custom-built 3 more indoor Little Free Libraries, which will reside in 3 of our library outreach sites, helping to put more books in the hands of more kids. The library and the library friends are gearing up for September, the annual Love Your Library Month. Once again, the Jack Buncher Foundation is offering a $150,000 match pool for all county libraries. The morning television show Pittsburgh Today Live does a regular Books and Beyond feature highlighting libraries, and for this upcoming segment, they will be sending a camera crew and a reporter to the Whitehall Library on September the 5th to shoot a promotional spot for the Love Your Library Month and Whitehall Library. The library will be joined by Amy Anderson, the executive director of the ACLA, and a representative from the Buncher Foundation will be coming, and when we have the date that it'll be shown, we'll let you all know so you can tune in. Our Love Your Library efforts include a Friends of the Library appeal letter that will be going out, and the library has planned the second after hours over 21 fundraising event on September the 20th from 7 to 9, a magical night at the Whitehall Public Library. Highlighting this event is a local legend and nationally renowned magician, Lee Trabowski, who is a Baldwin Whitehall graduate, who will dazzle guests with captivating up-close magic performance. So save the date, call for a ticket. Tickets are going fast. And finally, I would like to announce that Paula has turned in her retirement announcement, her letter of retirement. So she will be retiring, that's what we all said on the board. So she will be retiring at the end of January, and the board has started the process. We have our timeline of setting up our hiring committee, et cetera, in order to replace her, although she is personally irreplaceable. She's been with the library 27 years and has been director for 15 of those years. Any questions for me?
Thanks for the report.
Where?
No. Sir, you can't do that.
Well, she says no, but you know, we've got
No,
time.
you can't. It's a public meeting. All right, we're moving on. You
Uh,
can't have somebody on the floor. This has to be done in a citizen's request. So when you wanna ask a question regarding the library, you'd have to make that next meeting. Sign up.
Excuse me, Vice President, you were allowing other citizens to make
Okay, then I
comments
was
out
in
of
error in doing
turn.
that, so it's my fault.
So you gotta be consistent, right?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. What? Go ahead. What?
Does anybody have a question for me?
All right, go ahead, ask your question.
Yeah. You all planning any celebration for this?
Paula says no, but
Yeah,
we'll be getting back. Paula said no, that was the first thing out of her mouth, but we've got time to work on her.
And if we keep getting, I'm sorry, apologize, if we keep getting this disrespect among each other, we're gonna broadcast it out here. And we're gonna get newscasters in here. We're gonna get some real people that you're gonna have to answer to.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, recreation, Mr. Silver.
Hannah's here, I'm sure she has a report for us.
Hello, everyone. We received an overwhelming amount of compliments for our community day. It was a beautiful day to get the community together. Thank you for all of those who attended. I'll be reporting on the Community Day survey at the next meeting. That does run through August 31st and is located on the website if anybody wants to contribute. I also would like to thank Jason Holiday. He is on the library board. He works for Gamma. He actually donated entire pickleball backpack full of things for a pickleball tournament, so that was really nice of him, so I wanted to thank him. Our adult-only night swim is scheduled for Saturday, August 24th, from 6 to 8. We're hoping for a successful and safe evening. The last concert in the park of the summer is on August 31st. That's featuring the Classic Brew Band. The concert is from 7 to 9, and the food trucks Franken Fried and Millie's Ice Cream will be there from 5 to 8. And then our Touch a Truck will be on September 8th at the high school from noon till 3.
Hey, thank you.
I just had a question, about my own committee. Whenever I was on the planning zoning committee and the library committee, I would be sent an agenda before the meetings. Is there any way you could send me an agenda so I could speak with confidence to
Yeah,
what we're
I sent one the last meeting as well.
I didn't get it, so.
It goes to your Whitehall email. I can send you that receipt.
I am also on that committee, can you please CC me?
It would be the board, right?
She is
If
on
I'm
the board.
incorrect.
She's on the board.
On the board, yes, I can give you the agenda as well.
And I do have a question regarding the adult swim party. I want to reassure folks that there will be no adult beverages at the adult swim party because we want everyone to have a safe time. But can you please speak to how you plan on doing that?
That is a pool rule that we use throughout the entire pool season, and that will be up to pool management to make sure that everybody's following that rule that we use throughout the entire summer.
Thank you.
Mr. Vice President, just a follow-up to Community Day. I got a note from Michelle Crawley. She said, "Dear Jim, I am writing to express my sincere gratitude for the Community Service Award that I recently received. It is an incredible honor to be recognized by you and the members of Whitehall Borough Council for my contributions to the Baldwin Manor Park. This award is a reminder of the importance of working together to make our community a better place. I look forward to continuing to serve in my neighborhood and support projects that will benefit the greater good. Sincerely, Michelle Crawley."
Thanks, Mayor. All right, we move on to Public Works, Ms. Iger.
All right, I have notes to pass out so that I do not get interrupted as I am trying to conduct my report. Thank you very much. I do not believe in interrupting citizens as they are executing their citizens' comments, so I will take care of a couple business things at hand. So there is something that the state of Pennsylvania has regarding the return to standard whenever any utility company or really anyone who is working on their roads, and it therefore I believe would have to trickle down to the county, where it comes to Provost, and it would have to also trickle down to the municipality where it comes to growth. But that only is when the project is done. So it is definitely heard by me that we wish to have a better level on the streets as these long duration projects continue. And I do trust you Chief, have been really on top of it, and as well as your staff, as far as every single project that I've ever seen happen in this borough, from streets run road to even things that were happening on 51. So fantastic. I'm feeling really good that you're on top of it. I do want to point out that on my way here, I happened to observe a sign down. I believe it belongs to the county, but it's a matter of Public Works to rehang road signs. It's the green one at the corner of Provost and Brownsville, and it demarks Provost. And it's just there laying on the ground very close to the telephone pole that it used to be affixed to. I can show you a picture of it later. Thank you. All right, also, regarding West Club to the Curry Swale, I was under the understanding, as we had adjourned the discussion last time, that it would be the engineer who would come up with a recommendation for the West Club to Curry Swale replacement. And I did hear that there was a meeting and some discussion regarding replacing that with a pipe. However, I really do need some engineering feedback, because there's a lot of water flow concerns with this entire project. So, Scott, when's the last time that you were out there, and have you been able to take
15th I was out there the 15th of August.
15th of August, okay. That was since the last meeting. Okay.
And I'm preparing and reviewing still in the due diligence phases. I was back to reviewing, researching. I'm not prepared to give you a final
okay.
Summary on it, but as of today, did locate and find the original plans from 1922, the non-recorded plans of that area. So researching that, certainly looking into the easements that are there, and then we'll be presenting it was my understanding I was asked to prepare a estimate to make those improvements.
Yes. Yes,
And
yes,
working
and
on
those early Baldwin Township maps are definitely fascinating. Thank you. It makes me feel so much better that you are still looking into that. Fantastic. I took the initiative to look into additional grants, because it is the Public Works function to not only pay for our municipal trash whenever I go up here and I approve the monthly bills and the bi-monthly bills. That's a monthly bill, just the trash and just the recycling. So I'm hereby recommending that there's two grants to possibly consider. It's the PADP grant for recycling credits for those who are already performing recycling to go ahead and do that. And at first I thought, well, maybe this is just for municipalities that have their own public works trucks pick up the trash. We don't do that here. We outsource it to another company. However, it has netted fellow SHACOG municipalities to the tunes of tens of thousands of dollars. It's not much, but it could be something that would be able to push forward our efforts or dreams collectively that we all seem to have regarding higher quality trash cans and recycle bins in the parks. Also, we rolled out a recycling program, new implementation with the going from the flat bins that would just sit on the ground to taller bins on wheels for recycling. Now, these did not necessarily work for all of our residents, but it worked for a good deal of our residents, and there was a grant to reimburse municipalities of 90% of the eligible recycling program development and implementation expenses. That there were many of us who actually had to do a lot of expenses of our own, going ahead and buying another trash toter. And I was wondering if I do believe that the migration to these bigger toters might have been part of why we had to spend over $500,000 more between last calendar year and this calendar year for trash plus recycling. So I don't know if it would net anything. Please, administration, please take a look into it. I'll definitely pass the notes as to where to find these state grants. There was a question that I had about payroll. We'll discuss that in an executive session. There will be a job posting, and I just wanted to ask, was this going to be in the South Hills Record for, I suppose, either tomorrow or August 29th? Were you able to make that deadline?
No, the record doesn't run until next Thursday, but in discussions with the borough solicitor, it will be run on the borough's Facebook page, which it is live currently, as well as the website.
Okay, don't you think we should have a paper record for such things?
We're not required to advertise this in a paper per the solicitor.
Mr. Solicitor?
It's not legally required, no. But that's, yeah, it's not a legal requirement.
Okay, following up on that, there were, in fact, 7 head count. We are now down to 6, correct?
Without the supervisor, yes.
Yes, I'm not counting the supervisor, and I'm not counting the superintendent.
Well, there's 9 guys in Public Works at full staffing, including
Yes.
Mr. Harrison, the labor foreman.
Yes.
Down a laborer.
Yes, and I'm not counting the part-time people. We're discussing staffing a full-time person that once they've been fully acclimated past the 3-month probation period as per the union contract, they will enjoy a base salary as per the union contract of $35.37 per hour.
It's a 6-month probationary period, and it is $35 and change.
Yes, exactly. So, there are many benefits to working for a municipality, including that you're part of the union, as well as the fact that there is going to be a pension coming your way if you happen to stay with us for a good many years. And a lot of our public works people do stay a good many years, and they are very good men, and I'm excited to see who might be joining the workforce. As it was previously discussed, I was thinking about approaching the issue of finding another quality candidate, and as to not have it be too political with the council necessarily seeing the resumes, as it not to be too political or too either nepotism or otherwise just refer a friend sort of thing, that of a cronyism sort of thing, where you might have those problems in a staffing relationship. How about, Mr. Veith, if you join me for this upcoming Public Works public meeting that is on the calendar set for August 27th, so that we can find some citizens to be able to put out the call, amplify the call, and to see if they could possibly vet these resumes instead of the council to supplement the staff.
I think we voted this down already, so.
That's
no, I'm not-
precisely how the police are hired. There's a civil service commission that brings
Okay, we're done.
resumes to
We're
us.
moving on.
The point is, we want a
Excuse
resume.
me, excuse me, sir, so you're refusing to meet with me for public works,
That's
public
exactly
meeting?
right, yes. That's not available. Okay, we're gonna move on.
Always not available.
No, there's
Could
no
I
reason.
ask a question?
No. Judy, go ahead. I've been, let everybody else go ahead.
Judy Clover, Duncan Lane.
I'm
Do
sorry.
you have proof that there's nepotism going on? Why do you bring this up?
Well, why is it suspect that elected officials cannot properly vet the staff who are here? Why is that
She was
suspect?
talking about
Okay, we're-
Excuse me, you will never speak for me.
Whoa, let's just move on. This is going nowhere. All right, public safety, Ms. Gibb.
Two things that I think were partially covered by our chief. The first day of school is quickly approaching. Mother of Mercy Academy starts Thursday, August 22nd, which is tomorrow, I believe. And Bolton Whitehall School District starts on Tuesday, September 3rd. Please drive safely near school bus stops and school zones. Chief, are there any new regulations concerning stopping for school buses?
No, everything's the same.
Okay. Do it.
Yes.
Okay. And beginning September 1st, 2024, the Whitehall Police Department will only accept cash in exact amounts when paying fines and fees in person at the police station. If you do not have exact cash, you can still pay with check, money order, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover at the dispatch window. Chief appreciates everyone's patience as they transition to the newer methods of payment. And that's all.
Okay, any questions? If not, go right into parks, yeah.
Okay, I would like to call a Parks Committee meeting. I keep losing dates for some reason. But the purpose of the meeting, and it will be only to discuss projects listed for grant opportunities. There's a lot of grants out there. We need to say, okay, which projects are we going to apply for a grant? And then once you get the grant, you have to spend it within so much time. So we have to come up with a list. There's no point in applying for a grant for the steeplechase area if we know we're not gonna do the steeplechase area in the next year. So that's the purpose of the meeting that we will have on
26th.
the 26th. I'm sorry, I'm just really bad with dates.
August 26th at 5 p.m.
Is there any way we can move that to a later time so I could make it?
It's been publicly advertised at 5 o'clock.
Every other meeting's at 7, but I guess I'll call off for me.
Okay, we're good, okay. Any new business?
Yeah, I have one thing. I meant to bring this up the last time. So, Michael Hawes, who's a Life Scout, I believe, or close to being a Life Scout, is looking into his Eagle Scout project. He lives down, I think on Wheaton.
Yeah.
Wheaton, is that right? Okay, and he wants to do it along the path what he wants to do is either benches and a planting or something along the path that runs from Wheaton up to the Borough complex. And I was down there looking at it with him. Tricia I asked Tricia to come along because of the Whitehall Committee for Environmental Action aspect to it. And I think it's a great place for some kind of a project. If you look down there, it's a nice, lot of area. People are walking back and forth. Maybe they want to sit down and have a rest. So what I'm asking everyone to do is, all the elected officials, is take a look at the area, think about, what might be nice down there. And he'd like to do his Eagle project in that area if, possible. So,
Well, what is the scope of land again?
pardon me?
What is the scope of land?
It's large on both sides of the path. Are you asking about the land
Yeah,
over
yeah,
there?
where is it in the
Okay,
borough?
so you know the path that runs in between the tennis courts and the pool?
Yes.
Okay, and there's a
Beautiful.
slope that goes down,
Mhm.
and then it's a flat area, and then the path, and then another flat area. So there's a lot of space down there
Mhm.
where a nice Eagle project, could be done. And so, again, I'm asking everyone to take a look at it,
Beautiful.
consider it, and I'll talk to him, once I hear back from all of you, okay?
Okay.
I have no objection to them doing it, Jim, but I think we need some kind of professional approval, because I remember the benches put up at the pool that no one could sit on. And I remember flower beds being put in that after the first year, no one wanted to take care of them anymore. So those are two things that I think you need to discuss. I'd like you to discuss with them.
I will, and
Long-term planning and who's gonna approve these benches, because we could probably wind up liable if someone sat on them in a public area.
Okay, we're good. Any other new business? Okay, if not, I'd like to get a motion to recess for executive session regarding personnel.
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 you're gonna hang around, wait for the foyer.